It's no secret that blueprints in Unreal, while a useful tool, can quickly get out of hand. So, here are some tips to help you keep your blueprints clean, tidy, and efficient. Throughout this video, I'm going to be referring to the splash damage coding standards, which are available on GitHub. These are a good foundation for us to build on, and I'm going to be adding in my own points as we go. Item 1.5 talks about comment colors. Often, comments get colored inconsistently and arbitrarily, but it's much more useful to use colors semantically so that they convey some meaning at a glance. Here are the colors that I like to use, but you could also use different colors for different domains, like VFX, audio, and narrative. You can even create themes to store your color palettes, which are saved to editor per project user settings.ini when you exit the editor. If you want to make sure your themes are consistent across the whole team, just copy them into default editor per project user settings.ini, and they'll be applied to everyone's editor automatically. Item 3.2 recommends using sequence nodes to split unrelated logic flows. This can definitely help readability, but I'd actually take it a step further. Sequence nodes can become quite unwieldy when you start adding a lot of pins. So one approach that can help is actually chaining together multiple sequence nodes in rows, where each sequence node connects to a row of logic and then to the row below. This ensures that everything stays tidy no matter how many rows you need to add. Item 3.4 recommends using reroute nodes to keep connections visible. Again, I like to take this a step further with a rule that I call prefer corridors to direct connections. In other words, if you have a lot of connections going in the same direction, try to group them together in a sort of corridor that runs between your blueprint nodes. If you need to connect the same pin to multiple nodes, create a single path that uses reroute nodes to create offshoots to the relevant destinations. You can highlight these reroute nodes and press Q to quickly align them vertically. Better still, if you find yourself making a lot of very long connections, take the advice of item 3.5 and consider using local variables instead. Speaking of node alignment, a little extra effort here goes a long way. These two examples contain the same logic, but the one at the bottom is much nicer to look at. There are some very useful shortcuts here. For example, with some nodes selected, press Shift and W, A, S, or D to align their top, left, bottom, or right edges. Pressing Alt, Shift, and W or S will align their horizontal or vertical centers, respectively. One final tip regarding node placement is to avoid obscuring connections. For example, here we have a bunch of nodes stacked together which, while compact, makes it difficult to follow the connections. I would suggest one of these alternative layouts instead. Speaking of things to avoid, let's talk about delay nodes. While these might seem convenient, they can lead to a lot of problems and should be used sparingly. Since these nodes are executed asynchronously, they confuse the flow of logic and make it considerably harder to follow. In addition, some objects might be destroyed by the time the callback logic gets executed, so you have to be careful to make sure that any objects you're trying to access are still valid. Of course, delay nodes can only exist in the event graph, and you should be spending as little time in there as possible. Wherever possible, I recommend converting your events to functions. Firstly, this keeps the logic tidy and self-contained, but more importantly, functions allow you to create local variables so that you can store short-lived data without polluting the class scope. This alone can make your blueprint significantly cleaner, as you can refer to these variables instead of connecting pins over long distances. Local variables can also be used to store data that you need to reuse, which avoids repeating expensive operations. Much like a delay, this node might look perfectly innocent, but it's actually concealing an enormous red flag. You see, every time you cast to another blueprint type, you introduce a dependency on that blueprint. That means that whenever your blueprint gets loaded, Unreal has to load the other blueprint too, and all of its dependencies, and so on and so on. This can quickly spiral into a situation where loading a single blueprint becomes very expensive due to a cascade of dependencies. To get an idea of the scale of this problem, you can use the size map tool, which gives you a nice visualization of all the dependencies of your blueprint. This flowchart from Epic provides a good guide on when it's okay to cast and when you should look for an alternative. Note that casting to a C++ base class is absolutely fine. It's only casting to blueprints that introduces a hard reference. So where possible, the advice is generally to rely on functions and properties declared in C++, or if you just need to check the type of an object, you can use the isA node to compare to a soft class. This is apparently a little slower, but avoids the hard reference. Last but not least, I'm just going to speedrun through a few final tips on working with blueprints. When dragging a variable into the graph, you can bypass the usual drop-down menu by holding Ctrl to immediately create a getter, or holding Alt to immediately create a setter. You can right-click on any object variable and press Convert to Validated Get to avoid the need for an isValid node. When you break a struct, you can hide any disconnected pins to keep the node compact. Inside a function, you can drag a variable directly onto a return node to set the return type of the function. And one final recommendation is the Electronic Nodes plugin, available in the Unreal Marketplace. I don't have it myself because I don't use Unreal in my personal projects, but I've used it before and I really liked it. It makes your blueprints look a lot tidier with a lot less effort. That's it for today, but if you enjoy Unreal content, then I'm probably not going to make any more of it, but subscribe anyway, and I'll see you in the next one.